welcome back, everybody. Today we're gonna do another episode of The Flash. Last time we did a bunch of episodes of Batman, so we are coming back to finish up The Flash. Well, not finish up all of The Flash because there's like a million issues of The Flash, but finish up the showcase of the Flash because this is the very first of the Flash, and I'm pretty sure the people that think they know everything about comic books, they think that they have read everything about the comics. They probably think that they have read every Flash issue. Well, I'm pretty sure they haven't read these issues. So, we're going to go over these today. Okay. So, what we're going to go over today. Okay, before we get started, we haven't really been doing any of the original Flash issues before. We've just been doing his origin story. His origin story is like how he got his powers and like who was his criminals and stuff. We're still talking about that. And what we're talking about today is one of his rogues galleries. Sorry, kind of stopped for a minute. And what we're talking about today is like one of his rogues galleries. It's like one of his like big rogue gallery villain. It's kind of like how I know everybody knows big, like Batman has Joker and Superman has Lex Luthor, and then like so on and so on, and the other people have their other rogue gallery big bad guys. But with the Flash, he has Captain Cold and Reverse Flash. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that so low. He has Reverse Flash. He has Captain Cold and Reverse Flash. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Captain Cold and how Captain Cold is his first rogues gallery villain. Like when we talked about how in the Spider-Man videos how who was it? It was J. Jonah Jameson was one of his. Well, it wasn't like rogue bad guy, but like he hated him. And then we also talked about how like the Chameleon was like one of his first big rogues gallery bad guys. So that's what Captain Cold is to the Flash. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna continue staying from here so I could just talk about him a little more. Okay, so Captain Cold, his name is Leonard Snart. I know it's a weird last name. It's Leonard Snart. And I know you probably want to say Leonard Snark. I sometimes kind of get in the habit of saying Leonard Snark. His full name is Leonard Snart. um he his I don't know if you want to say gimmick, but like his thing is he's a cold villain. He has a cold gun. He likes to freeze. He likes to try to freeze the Flash sometimes. He wears I mean, you could see here that he wears a hood and what a jacket. That's what I was trying to say. So that's just basically it. He's like a cold based villain that he just like tries to freeze the Flash most of the time, and that's basically like what his what he does. Okay, so our story starts off with Captain Cold coming into the city, and okay, okay, like I said, the story starts with Captain Cold coming into the city, and then he starts to freeze everything, and then he says, "Look, oh," and then I didn't mean to say that, and then he says, "Haha, my ice gun is working perfectly." And then he goes into the bank and he starts to steal from the bank. And then he says, there's plenty of cold cash in there, but I'll warm the money in my pockets." And then, okay, and then the police alert the Flash, who is Barry Allen, like we talked about before. And then he's like, "Sounds like a situation that could be handled by the Flash." And then he gets out his suit. And then he says, "Just like rubber, life preserves expand when they come into contact with water." Okay, and then he rushes right over to the bank where he is. And then he runs right up to him. And then Captain Cold Okay, so he runs up to him as the world's fastest human moves towards his strange antagonist. "You'll never defeat Captain Cold, Flash. I'm well equipped for this meeting with you," as Captain Cold says. And then the next moment, "I hit him with my cold gun, but he's still moving. Well, didn't it freeze him? Because swift vibrations overcome your cold blasts." So the Flash is trying to say that his blast didn't hit him because he vibrated right through it. Okay, and then he keeps trying to shoot at him. Well, he vibrates right through the blast. Okay, and then as the Flash searches around, there is no trace of Captain Cold. Okay, let us turn back the clock a short. Okay, as we turn. So now we're, as I told you at the beginning, we're talking about the origin of Leonard Snart, of like how he came to be. Okay, now he's looking in the paper to figure out how to stop the Flash. Okay, now he's trying to use it to his advantage to... Okay, so now he found something called the Cyclotron device, and he says he's gonna use it on the Flash so he could defeat him. Okay, now he's trying to go find the Cyclotron device. I'm having a hard time trying to pronounce that word. Okay, so he's gonna go try to find the Cyclotron device, and he's also gonna need to hide from the cops so he doesn't get, so they don't find him and try to arrest him. Okay. Now he's made it into the Cyclotron building, and he uses it on his gun. Okay, then he sees the cops. Okay, let's see. Stop or I'll shoot. He's armed. I've got nothing but this gun or mine. I'll point it at him. Try to scare him off. Okay, and then he freezes him. But as Leonard Snart accidentally presses the trigger off his weapon, something shot out and froze the Watchman solid as a block of ice. Okay, so now we're at the part where, like, every superhero and every villain, I don't know, I guess every villain get to, like, in movies and TV shows about superheroes, and I don't know, I guess villains too, where they get to when where they get to, they make their outfit and they pick their name. So Captain Cold made his outfit, which was just a hoodie, which was... Dang, I'm having a hard time for some reason. Okay, hold on. Was just a jacket, hood on it, and some green glasses. And then he's gonna pick his name, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be Captain Cold. And then that's it. Oh, and then he has some snow boots to put it all together. Yeah. Okay. Then he says, what if I have it? Wait, no, he says, wait, I have it. I'll call myself Captain Cold. Okay, now he's talking to himself. He's saying, oh, Flash almost caught me the first time. And then he's like, oh, I need to figure out a method of defeating the Flash forever. Okay, I wonder if I could adjust my cold gun to shoot out even colder blasts, frigid enough to stop the Flash cold in his tracks. No luck yet with the various elements I've put in the firing of my gun. Let's see how liquid helium works. That's one of the coldest things I known. Ha! A polar bear suddenly appeared here from nowhere. His cold gun shoots out mirages of cold. So after I was being dumb on that one, sorry, I didn't mean I was being dumb. I just didn't know what to say on that other part. Okay, anyways. So the police had to report that Captain Cold was on the run. That he was on the move again. So that probably means that it's time for a Flash. Okay, now Barry Allen as the Flash goes to Central Park where he heard that Captain Cold was. Then he says, Captain Cold must be here somewhere. Imagine the lake. Okay, yeah, he says, imagine the lake froze solid in July. Okay, and then Captain Cold is hiding from him while Flash is racing around trying to find him. Okay, and then Captain Cold says to spring the most fantastic all time. And then he also says a blast of absolute zero and the merges will do the rest. Oh, mirages. Okay, so he must have zapped him. In an instant, a fantastic mirage. Okay, so this is a mirage that the Flash is seeing. In an instant, a fantastic mirage surrounds the stunned Scarlet Speedster. Where'd the traveling staircases come from? Good gosh. All covering on me. Only way to escape. Whirl myself around. Create a central fragile force powerful enough to drive those staircases back. So he's saying he needs to run really fast. So the Flash thinks he sees staircases and he's just wearing himself out running around, and Captain Cold is just hiding and just sending mirages, and he's making the Flash wear himself out so Captain Cold just I want to say so it could just freeze him or just like hit him in one punch. So I think that's what he's trying to do. Yeah, I was right. So he's just gonna end up freezing him. So he's just gonna end up wearing him out, and then he's just gonna freeze him. As the mirage fades, suddenly those staircases begin to fade, and now they're gone. I can't understand. Okay, so I'm sorry. This is Flash talking. Suddenly, those staircases began to fade, and now they're gone. I can't understand. Time to fire my next bolt of absolute cold. Okay, so he says of absolute cold, and then these dragons and two-headed chickens come out of nowhere. Okay, suddenly the merry-go-round vanished. Oh, so it was a merry-go-round, okay. One more and the Flash will be too exhausted to resist me. Okay, so this buzzsaw's going around the Flash, and if he tries to race through them, he's gonna get cut. Okay, now not Captain, but sorry, I said the bad accent. Okay, now the Flash is trying to be like Batman, where he's trying to be like a detective. Well, he kind of is like a detective because he works with the police. Anyways, he's like, oh, there's traces of coal coming from the saw. Then it must mean Captain Cold is behind these weird attacks on me. Got to strike back with an attack on my own. Okay, and then he's like, I was right. The thing wasn't real, just an illusion. Created by Captain Cold. There he is now. Okay, and then stupid thing. Okay, and then the Flash credits illusion of himself. For the master of the cold and the fire others. Okay. And then he's like, I'll use my super speed to give Captain Cold a taste of his own tricky medicine. Okay, and then Captain Cold, like, I can't tell which is the real Flash. I see dozens of him. I'll fire at them as fast as I can. That's not fast enough, Captain Cold. A moment later, the world's fastest human wraps up his foe in a net of whirling air. Your game is up, Captain Cold. I'm taking you straight to police headquarters. Can't move. I can't move. Later, with Captain Cold safely behind bars, Barry Allen prepares at the police laboratory. Where have you been, Barry? I'll bet you haven't heard the news. The Flash tangled with Captain Cold and captured him. And then he says, is that so? Okay, and then he just shrugs him off, and then he says, I'm tired of being the Flash for this issue, and then that's the end.